It's 3:42 a.m., and I'm sitting in my car parked 2 blocks from my parents' house because I can't bring myself to go back inside. I'm 23 years old, and 3 nights ago I heard something that has completely shattered my understanding of my entire life. I overheard my parents, the people who raised me, who I love more than anyone, who I thought loved me unconditionally, talking about how they regret having me. Not in a moment of anger, not during a fight, just a calm, honest conversation about how their lives would have been better if I'd never been born. I don't know how to process this. I don't know how to look at them anymore. I don't know how to reconcile the parents I thought I had with the truth of what they actually feel. And I definitely don't know how to continue living in their house, eating dinner with them, pretending like everything is normal when I now know that my existence is something they wish they could undo. My name is Jordan. I'm the only child of Michael and Patricia, both 51 years old. I grew up in a nice suburban house, went to good schools, never wanted for anything material. My childhood wasn't perfect, whose is? But it was stable. My parents were involved. They came to my school events, helped with homework, took me on vacations. They were good parents. Or at least I thought they were. I'm currently living at home while I figure out my next steps. I graduated college last year with a degree in English, which, as everyone loves to remind me, isn't exactly a lucrative field. I've been working part-time at a bookstore while applying to publishing jobs, and trying to save money for my own place. Living at home at 23 isn't ideal, but my parents said it was fine. They said I could stay as long as I needed while I got on my feet. Now I wonder if they were just saying what they were supposed to say. If every day I'm here is just another reminder of their regret. Let me tell you what happened 3 nights ago, because I keep replaying it in my head over and over, trying to make it mean something different than what it obviously means. It was a Tuesday night. I'd worked the closing shift at the bookstore and got home around 10:30 p.m. The house was dark except for the kitchen light. I figured my parents had gone to bed. They usually turn in around 10 on weeknights. I was hungry, so I made my way toward the kitchen to grab something to eat. As I got closer, I heard voices, my parents, talking quietly at the kitchen table. I was about to walk in and say hi, but something in their tone made me pause. My mom was crying. Not sobbing, just that quiet, tired crying where your voice gets thick and shaky. I immediately worried something was wrong. A death in the family, bad news from a doctor, something serious. I just don't know how much longer I can do this, my mom was saying. I'm so tired, Michael. I'm so tired of pretending. I know, my dad said. His voice was gentle, sad. I know you are. I stood in the hallway, frozen. What were they talking about? Pretending what? Sometimes I think about what our lives would look like, my mom continued. If we'd made different choices, we'd be empty nesters by now. We'd have freedom. We could travel, downsize the house, focus on ourselves for once. We can still do those things, my dad said. Eventually. Can we? My mom asked. Jordan is 23 and still living here with no clear plan. No real job. No direction. How much longer are we supposed to support this? My stomach dropped. They were talking about me, but that wasn't the worst part. People complain about their adult kids living at home all the time. I could understand that frustration. Maybe we should give an ultimatum, my dad said. Tell Jordan there's a timeline. 6 months to find a real job and move out, something like that. That's not the point, my mom said, and her voice cracked. The point is that I'm 51 years old, and I've never had my life be my own. I went straight from my parents' house to college, to marriage, to pregnancy, to motherhood. I never got to just be me, and I know that's on me. I know I made these choices, but God, Michael, sometimes I wish I'd made different ones. Silence. I held my breath, pressed against the hallway wall. You mean? My dad started, then trailed off. I wish we hadn't had Jordan, my mom said. Her voice was barely above a whisper, but I heard every word clearly. I know that's a terrible thing to say. I know it makes me a horrible person, but it's the truth. If we could go back, knowing what we know now, I don't think I'd do it again. I don't think I'd have a child. I stopped breathing. The world tilted. My dad was quiet for a long moment. Then, I've thought the same thing. Really. My mom sounded almost relieved. Yeah, my dad said. Not all the time. But sometimes I think about who we could have been without the responsibility. The money we spent on raising a kid. Do you know we could have retired by now? We could be living somewhere warm, doing whatever we wanted. Instead, we're still working, still paying for everything, still worrying. It's not even about the money, my mom said. It's about the sacrifice. I gave up my career. I gave up my identity. I became Jordan's mom, and I've been Jordan's mom for 23 years, and I don't even know who Patricia is anymore underneath that. I know, my dad said. I feel the same way. I love Jordan, I do. But the person we raised isn't who I thought they'd be. I thought by now we'd have a successful kid who'd be independent and making us proud. Instead, we have a 23-year-old English major working at a bookstore with no ambition and no plan. Each word was a knife. I couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't process what I was hearing. Do you think we failed? My mom asked. As parents? I don't know, my dad said. Maybe. Or maybe some kids just don't turn out the way you hope, no matter what you do. I feel guilty even saying this, my mom said. What kind of mother regrets her child? A human one, my dad said. I think we're allowed to acknowledge that parenthood wasn't what we expected, that it cost us more than we thought it would. That if we'd known then what we know now, we might have chosen differently. They sat in silence for a moment. Then my mom said, "We can't ever tell Jordan this. It would destroy them." I know, my dad agreed. We'll keep pretending. We'll keep being supportive parents. We'll keep doing what we're supposed to do. How much longer, though? My mom asked. When do we get to stop pretending and start living for ourselves? I don't know, my dad said. Soon, I hope. I don't remember walking back outside. I don't remember getting in my car. But somehow I ended up sitting in the driveway, shaking, tears streaming down my face, trying to comprehend what I'd just heard. My parents regretted having me, not in a moment of frustration or anger. This was a calm, honest conversation about their true feelings. They loved me, but they wished I'd never been born. They were counting down the days until I moved out, so they could finally start living their real lives, the lives they should have had without me. I couldn't go back inside. I couldn't face them. So I drove. I drove around for hours, crying, trying to make sense of it all. Every memory of my childhood suddenly looked different. Every "I love you," every hug, every proud moment. Was it all just them pretending? Playing the role of loving parents while secretly wishing I didn't exist? I thought about specific moments. When I was 8 and won the school spelling bee, and my parents seemed so proud. Were they faking it? When I was 16 and struggling with anxiety, and they paid for therapy and sat with me through panic attacks. Were they just going through the motions? When I graduated college and they threw me a party, and my mom cried and said she was so proud of who I'd become. Was that a lie? Every milestone, every moment of support, every time they said they loved me, I questioned all of it. Because if they secretly regretted having me, how much of our relationship was real, and how much was just them performing the role of parents? I drove until the sun came up. Then I went to a 24-hour diner and sat there drinking coffee, trying to figure out what to do. I couldn't confront them. What would I even say? Hey, I overheard you saying you regret having me. Want to talk about it? They'd made it clear they never wanted me to know. They'd deny it, or worse, they'd confirm it, and we'd all have to live with that truth hanging between us. I couldn't keep living there, pretending I hadn't heard what I heard. Every time they smiled at me, I'd know it was fake. Every time they asked about my day, I'd know they were counting down until I left. But I also couldn't afford to move out immediately. I had maybe $2,000 saved. That wouldn't even cover first month's rent, last month's rent, and deposit on an apartment in this city. I was trapped, financially dependent on people who wished I didn't exist. Eventually, I went back to the house. It was 7 a.m. My parents were in the kitchen having breakfast before work, the same kitchen where they'd had that conversation the night before. There you are, my mom said when I walked in. I heard you come home late and then leave again. Everything okay? I looked at her. She looked the same as always. Concerned, caring, my mom. Except now I knew the truth. I'm fine, I said. Couldn't sleep. Went for a drive. You look exhausted, she said. Are you sure everything's okay? Was she really concerned? Or was this just more pretending? I'm fine, I repeated. My dad looked up from his newspaper. You know you can talk to us about anything, right, Jordan? If something's bothering you. I almost laughed. Talk to them? About what? About how I heard them say they regret having me. I know, I said. Everything's fine. I went to my room and closed the door. Lay on my childhood bed staring at the ceiling. This bed, this room, this house. My whole life had been lived in a space where I wasn't actually wanted. The past 3 days have been hell. I've been avoiding my parents as much as possible. Leaving early for work. Coming home late. Staying in my room. When I do have to interact with them, I feel like I'm watching actors in a play. They're playing the roles of loving, supportive parents, and I'm playing the role of the child who doesn't know the truth. My mom asked yesterday if I was feeling okay, if something happened. You've been so distant lately, she said. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to tell her I heard everything. I wanted to ask her how she could look me in the eye and pretend to care when I now knew she wished I'd never been born. Instead, I said, just stressed about job hunting. Well, don't put too much pressure on yourself, she said. You know you can stay here as long as you need. Lies. All lies. They wanted me gone. They were just too polite to say it. I've been going through my entire childhood in my head, reframing everything. I always thought I had a good relationship with my parents. We weren't super close, but we got along. They supported me. They came to my events. They helped me with school. They paid for college. But now I see it all differently. They did the bare minimum required of parents. They fulfilled their obligations. But was there ever any joy in it? Any genuine love? Or was every moment just them doing their duty while secretly counting the years until they'd be free? I remember being about 10 years old and asking my mom if she was happy she had me. I don't know why I asked. Maybe some kid at school said something about their parents not wanting them. My mom had hugged me and said, "Of course, you're the best thing that ever happened to me." Lies. Even then, it was lies. I remember being 14 and going through a phase where I was convinced nobody loved me. Typical teenage angst. My dad sat me down and had a whole talk about how much they loved me, how they chose to have me, how I made their lives better. More lies. Every reassurance, every "I love you," every moment where they made me feel wanted and valued. I now know it was all performance. They were good actors, I'll give them that. 23 years of convincing me I was loved and wanted when the truth was they regretted ever having me. I called my best friend yesterday, needed to talk to someone. Her name is Maya, we've known each other since high school. I drove to a coffee shop so my parents wouldn't overhear. "I need to tell you something," I said. "But you can't tell anyone. Not your parents, not anyone." "Okay," Maya said, immediately concerned. "What's wrong? You sound terrible." I told her everything. About overhearing the conversation. About what my parents said. About how I didn't know what to do. Maya was quiet for a long time. Then, "Jordan, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to say. That's devastating. I don't know what to do," I said. "I can't stay there, but I can't afford to leave. And even if I could leave, then what? Do I just never talk to them again? Pretend I don't know? How do you have a relationship with parents who regret having you?" "I don't know," Maya admitted, "but I think you need to tell them you know. You can't just carry this around. It'll eat you alive. What if they confirm it? What if I confront them and they just admit it's all true? Then at least you'll know for sure," Maya said, "and you can decide how to move forward with actual information instead of just sitting in this awful limbo." "What if they deny it? Then you'll know they're liars on top of everything else," Maya said. "Look, there's no good option here, but you deserve honesty. You deserve to know where you actually stand with them." She's right, I know she is. But I'm terrified, because right now, I can still pretend. I can still live in the house and interact with my parents and maintain some kind of relationship. If I confront them, everything changes. Either they deny it, and I know they're liars, or they confirm it, and I have to face the full reality that my parents wish I'd never been born. I've also been thinking about signs I missed. Were there moments where they showed their true feelings? Times when the mask slipped? I remember when I was applying to colleges. My parents pushed hard for me to go to state school instead of the private schools I got into. I thought it was about money, about being practical. Now I wonder if it was because they wanted me to be less of a financial burden. Get the degree as cheaply as possible so they could be done supporting me sooner. I remember after I graduated, my dad made several comments about friends' kids who'd gotten high-paying jobs right out of college. Mark's son got a job at Google, starting at 6 figures. Sarah's daughter is doing consulting, already making more than I do. I thought he was just making conversation. Now I realize he was comparing me to successful kids and finding me wanting. I remember my mom's face when I told her I was majoring in English. She'd asked what I planned to do with that degree, and I'd said something vague about publishing or teaching. She'd smiled, but it hadn't reached her eyes. "That's nice, honey. Whatever makes you happy." What she meant was, great. Another impractical choice that ensures we'll be supporting you forever. Every little moment I'd brushed off or rationalized now seems significant. How many times did they bite their tongues? How many times did they want to say, "You're a disappointment," but said, "We're proud of you," instead? Last night at dinner, which I couldn't avoid because my mom specifically asked me to be there, my dad asked about my job search. "Any promising leads?" he asked. "A few applications out," I said. "Nothing concrete yet." "You know, Jordan, you might want to consider expanding your search," he said. "Maybe look at administrative positions, corporate jobs. Publishing is a tough field to break into." What he meant was, give up on your dreams and get any job so you can move out already. "I'm doing fine." "Dad," I said, "I'm just saying at a certain point you need to be practical," he continued. "You've been looking for almost a year now." "Michael," my mom said quietly. "A warning. I'm just trying to help," my dad said. I want Jordan to be successful and independent. Independent. Translation, gone. I excused myself from dinner early, said I wasn't feeling well. As I walked away, I heard my mom say quietly to my dad, "You're pushing too hard." "Someone needs to," he replied. "I've been looking at apartments I can't afford. Studio apartments in bad neighborhoods that would still take my entire bookstore paycheck and then some. I'd need to get a second job, or a better job, or both. But the idea of staying in my parents' house now is unbearable. Every time I see them, I want to ask, when did you realize you regretted me? Was I a difficult baby? A troublesome child? Or was it just the slow accumulation of years of sacrifice that made you wish you'd chosen differently? Did you ever have moments where you were glad I existed? Or was every single moment of my life just an obligation to you? I keep thinking about what my mom said. I don't think I'd do it again. I don't think I'd have a child. Not specifically me. She wishes she'd never had a child at all. I'm not even a personal disappointment. I'm just the general burden of parenthood that she wishes she'd avoided entirely. Somehow that's worse. If they regretted me specifically, if I'd done something wrong, made bad choices, been a terrible kid, at least then I could understand. At least then there would be something I could fix or change or apologize for. But this isn't about me at all. This is about them, and their choices, and their sacrifices, and their life paths. I could have been perfect, and they still would have regretted having me because the issue isn't who I am. It's that I exist at all. I've been thinking about my future kids, if I ever have them. I always assumed I'd be a parent someday. But now I'm terrified. What if I have kids and feel the same way? What if I make the same sacrifices and have the same regrets? What if I end up sitting at a kitchen table at 51 talking about how I wish I'd made different choices? This has poisoned my whole understanding of parenthood. I thought parents loved their kids unconditionally. I thought that even when things were hard, even when kids were disappointing, parents still fundamentally didn't regret having them. But my parents proved that wrong. You can do all the right things, raise your kid in a good home, provide for them, support them, and still wish they'd never been born. I've also been thinking about confronting them. Maya thinks I should. Part of me agrees, but another part of me wants to just quietly move out, get distance, and never speak to them again. Let them have their freedom. Give them what they really want, their lives back without me in them. But could I really do that? Just disappear? Never see them again? They're still my parents, even if they wish they weren't. This morning my mom knocked on my bedroom door. "Jordan, can I come in?" "Sure," I said. She came in and sat on the edge of my bed. "Honey, your dad and I are worried about you. You've been so withdrawn lately. Is something going on?" I looked at her. She looked genuinely concerned. But I knew the truth. She wanted me to be okay enough to function and move out. Not because she actually cared about my well-being. "I'm fine, Mom." "You don't seem fine," she said. "You barely come out of your room. You're not eating much. You look exhausted. Please talk to me." "What do you want me to say?" I asked, and some bitterness crept into my voice. "Whatever's bothering you," she said. "I'm your mother. I love you. You can tell me anything." I almost laughed. She loves me. Sure she does. The same way you love an obligation, a responsibility you can't escape. "There's nothing to tell," I said. "I'm just stressed about job hunting and figuring out my future." "Well, you know you don't have to rush," she said. "You can take your time. This is your home." Lies. This has never been my home. This is their home that they've had to share with an unwanted burden for 23 years. "Thanks, Mom," I said. She looked at me for a long moment, like she wanted to say something else. Then she just sighed and left. I wonder if she suspects I know something, if she's noticed the change in me and is worried I overheard them. Or maybe she's just going through the motions, doing what a concerned mother is supposed to do while counting down the days until I'm gone. I've been researching how much I'd need to move out. Even a shitty studio apartment would be about $1,200 a month, plus utilities, plus groceries, plus all the other costs of living. My bookstore job pays about $1,500 a month. I'd need to find something better, fast. I updated my resume yesterday. Started applying to anything and everything. Administrative assistant positions, retail management, customer service, anything that pays more than what I'm making now. I don't care about pursuing my dreams in publishing anymore. I just need money. I need to get out, because I can't keep living like this. I can't keep pretending I don't know. I can't keep eating dinner with people who wish I didn't exist. I can't keep accepting their help and support knowing it's all just reluctant obligation. Every time my mom makes me dinner, I think, she wishes she wasn't doing this. Every time my dad asks about my day, I think, he wishes he didn't have to care. Every time either of them says, "I love you," I think, lies. It's killing me. The weight of this knowledge is crushing. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't focus on anything. My whole foundation has crumbled. Because here's the thing. I loved my parents. I appreciated them. I thought we had a good relationship. Not perfect, but good. I thought they were proud of me, even if I hadn't figured out my career yet. I thought they wanted me in their lives. Finding out the truth has destroyed me in a way I can't even fully articulate. It's not just that they regret having me, though that's devastating enough. It's that everything I thought about my childhood, my relationship with them, my value as a person was based on a lie. How do you recover from finding out your entire life has been unwanted? I'm sitting in my car again now, 2 blocks from the house. It's 4 a.m. and I can't go back inside. Can't face another day of pretending. Maybe I'll drive to Maya's place, crash on her couch. Maybe I'll drive out of the city entirely. Just keep going until I run out of gas. Maybe I'll finally work up the courage to confront my parents and demand the truth, even though I already know it. Or maybe I'll just sit here in my car until the sun comes up, trying to figure out how to build a life knowing that the 2 people who gave me life wish they hadn't. I don't have answers. I just have this crushing knowledge and the question that keeps running through my head. How do you move forward when you find out you were never wanted in the first place? I don't know. I'm 23 years old and I just found out my parents regret having me. And I have no idea how to survive this.